I'm Dr. Amy Robbins, and welcome to the Life, Death, and Space Between podcast. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and medium. I know it seems like a strange combination, but that gives me a unique view of life and death. Death can be scary. I get that. That's why I'm doing this. I want to help people explore life, death, and what it all means. We are born and we die. What we do in the middle is the space between. When you think of a medium, what comes to your mind? Maybe it's the Long Island lady with the big blonde poofy hair and a cable show. Or Whoopi Goldberg from Ghost. Or John Edwards. What would you say if I told you your neighborhood medium is at a school drop-off? Or it's the lady at the gym? There are men and women who don't have big flashy careers, but use rare psychic senses to help people heal. Lisa Nitzkin is a spiritual medium who helps with loss. She uses an array of senses, ones you've probably never heard of, to hear, feel, smell, see, and taste information. Lisa is able to connect into the spirit energy of the dead. She takes what she has learned and passes it on to clients. It's called a reading, and it's meant to guide people on a spiritual path. I believe, and so does Lisa, that after we die, our souls still remain, and love never ends. A couple weeks back, I had the opportunity to speak with Lisa, and here's her story. At a young age, Lisa Nitzkin found herself alone. Her mom had just passed away from cancer, and at the time, Lisa, who was just 7, was confused, but not without hope.
I really tried to navigate through life without a mother, and I really didn't understand death. And luckily, I had a very spiritual aunt who helped raise me and helped me to answer some of these questions about what happens after we die. And from a very basic level at 7 years old, she was able to give me a symbol for my mom to let me know that she's with me. And the symbol was a rainbow.
That rainbow would be a central theme as she grew into her teens.
Every holiday, every birthday, everything significant that would happen in my life, I would always see a rainbow. And it would always help me think that I was being guided and protected by my mom.
Lisa always felt she had strong intuitive experiences, but it really wasn't until about 12 years ago when Lisa, after the birth of her first child, found herself struggling emotionally and financially, not sure where to turn.
I felt so anxious and so unclear of my path, and I remember praying out loud, like, somebody just help me. And around that time, I started having paranormal experiences that were related to my mom.
Lisa wasn't sure what to make of these paranormal experiences.
It's not that I see dead people with my physical eyes, but what did happen to me was that during this time of depression, and I was praying for somebody, something, to my mom, to somebody, universe, Buddha, whatever, help me, help me, help me. I was also seeking professional help with a psychiatrist at the time and just going through this intense phase in my life. And during that time, I had a friend over and we were sort of talking in the kitchen, and she had her young daughter over and she was playing with my son at the time. I think they were 5. And we were talking about my mom, and she had never met my mom. She had seen pictures of her later in life. And all of a sudden she said, "Oh my gosh, Lisa, I think I just saw your mom in the window." And I was like, "Yeah, right. You saw my mom in the window. Sure." And we were sort of joking around about it. And she's like, "No, seriously, I think I just saw your mom in the window."
And then Lisa started asking her mother, who had passed away when she was just 7, to show her that she really was still around.
And I was in my kitchen, and we were standing in front of my counter, and above my counter were 3 pendant lights. And so I joked around with her and my mom. And I said, Mom, if you're really here, make that middle light go out. And we're joking around and talking, and I turned to put something in the dishwasher, and my friend screamed, and I turned around and the middle light was out.
Lisa herself didn't believe that this actually happened, and the skeptic in her asked again, just to be sure, even getting her kids involved this time.
And he said, Grandma Julie, hi, are you here? And the light went out again. And so I had a witness there, my friend, her children.
It's always good to have someone
exactly, because you think you're crazy,
you can't believe it,
right?
After this experience, Lisa started on a quest for understanding what this was all about. She could feel her mom's presence, but didn't know how to make sense of it all.
So from that day forward, my house became what people would call haunted, although it wasn't really haunted in my eyes. I just felt the vibration of my mom so strongly. My TV was turning on and off by itself. Lights were flickering everywhere, so much so that it felt like she was just literally right next to me. And I needed to understand what I was hearing, feeling, and seeing about my mom. So I took a mediumship class on this topic. I took a class on mediumship. And
after Lisa took some time to hone her skills as a medium, Lisa pushed herself to test if what she was experiencing was truly real. And who better to do that with but her psychiatrist who was treating her depression? Lisa felt that if she truly was, as she says, crazy, then who better to tell her than the medical doctor that was treating her?
I gave my psychiatrist a reading, and she looked at me sort of with this blank stare, and she saw this whole transformation, and she said, you're clearly doing something, and now go do your soul's work. It's going to help people. So I haven't second guessed it since, and it became a domino effect.
From then on, Lisa started doing readings for friends and acquaintances by tapping into their energy fields. Lisa is able to tap into the energy of the person she's doing a reading for, as well as the energy of the people who have crossed over. Any information she receives in a reading, no matter where it comes from, she believes is important and valued.
It's all one and the same for me. Everyone who does this work does it a little differently, but where I get my information for the person that I'm tapping into is coming from their higher self or the spirit energy of their deceased loved one. So it's energetically all the same to me.
Lisa's readings are steeped in validation, so people can leave without a shadow of a doubt that their loved ones are still with them. This is something Lisa prides herself on, as she never wants someone thinking that she looked something up on the internet. A common thought that people who have witnessed mediums often use to help them explain and understand how a complete stranger might have this information.
And I'm really big in validation. So I really want to make sure that when you leave me, after you've had a reading with me, you leave without a shadow of a doubt, knowing that your loved ones are with you, telling me to tell you things that there's no way I can know, nothing you could get off the internet.
Well, that's another issue, right? Because people are always like, oh, she Googled me, she looked me up on the internet.
And I could easily do that, but that doesn't matter because what you get in a session isn't that. Right. It's much deeper.
While Lisa is quite gifted at what she does, she believes we are all able to access our own psychic gifts, and this isn't unique to her.
I really think we all have this ability to tap into our higher selves, which in turn is our connection to our intuition and to our spirits.
Lisa explains the difference between a psychic and a medium and why ultimately she calls herself an intuitive.
Because I think it can sometimes be dangerous to tell someone what their future is going to be, because oftentimes people will live their life based on what other people say. And what I like to do is really empower people to go inside of themselves to get all the answers, because we all have it within ourselves and our higher guidance. Because we've been programmed, a lot of us in this world, to seek validation outside of ourselves. So when someone comes to see me, what I like to do is I like to really open up the door as somebody who can show you that this is something that is real. And then you take it one step further when you leave me. And so you learn how to connect with your loved ones on your own. So I really like to empower people to do that. And for their own future if they have future questions about their lives, you really carry all the answers within you. Mm-hmm. And so I really try to empower people to go within themselves, to really listen to their own intuition, their own internal guide, their alarm system, their navigation system that we all have. It's our birthright. We're all born with it. So that is really what I do. I really like to empower people to do that, because so many times we are just looking for people's advice and trying to get what other people think we should do in certain situations. Should we take the job? Should we not take the job? Should we break up with our boyfriend? Should we not? And we're always like, even though we know in our hearts what we really should be doing, because there's always that little voice.
But the question many often have of Lisa is whether or not she spends all day with dead people talking to her, trying to get her attention to get their messages through to their loved ones.
Just like in life, when you're dealing with people who are coming into your energy field all day long, whether you're meeting with clients or your family members or, a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, you are entering someone's energy field. We have the power to put up a boundary and not let anybody's energy come to us. So I am very good with boundaries with the living and the deceased. So it's like a light switch for me. I can turn it on and I can allow them to come into my energy field. And then I can also turn it off and say, you're not welcome right now, but you can come back at another time. Mm-hmm. So no, the only way that the dead follow you around or spirits follow you around is if you just keep yourself so open to allowing energy to come your way. Mm-hmm. I call myself a bug zapper. So when I say that, it means like the second I turn on the light switch, it's like all these bugs just start kind of attracting to the light. And yeah, they'll want to come the second they see that light. And but I know how to navigate through turning it on and turning it off, which is really important if you're going to be in this work.
Why are we here? And why are some lives so much more difficult than others? These are some of the questions we often ask ourselves, and Lisa's journey has guided her to understand our pain and suffering as part of our life's lessons.
My belief system is that before we incarnate into this human form, we do have a soul contract, which I believe is a blueprint of how our life is supposed to go on this earth plane. And so we set up these lessons and these predestined events that are already planned for us to help us cope, learn, grow, evolve. And eventually, I believe, when we move through all those experiences, we're always learning. It's just in our earthly physical brain and body, are we able to see the blessing and all of the burdens that we experience and all of the situations that we go through and all the people that we meet. I do believe our soul has a purpose, but we're always trying to figure out what that is from an earthly perspective. But from a soul level, we've already set that up.
Lisa's insight as to why we are here helps us understand why we may be experiencing pain and suffering and what we can do with it.
Because it is always supposed to teach you something to help you grow and evolve and learn, and in turn help people. When I was first told this concept, I wanted to hit the person in the face. Right. Because I thought to myself, really oh yeah, for sure. It took me a really long time to really understand this concept, because exactly, why would I ever choose to have my mom die when I was 7? The fact of the matter is, I wouldn't be doing this work if it wasn't for her passing. Right. And I have learned that through this work, and through my connection to spirit and all of the information I've received throughout the years, is that we're not here for nothing, that there is a bigger picture, and we have to have the dark in order to have the light. We have to have the light in order to have the dark. I mean, it works hand in hand. You have to learn from it. It's up to us, though, to see the lesson in it, and we are often missing it. So we're often missing the messages and the unbelievable blessings that are coming through in the midst of the heartache and the pain. Mm-hmm. It is a very big question about soul's contracts, and it can be controversial for sure.
While Lisa's work with others has been enlightening, her own spiritual journey has been life-saving for her.
It has made me understand that there is a bigger picture in life, and that when we die, we don't just die. We really, truly do. There is no death in my experience. It has helped me tremendously with my healing from my mom's passing when I was just 7, and all the other experiences, painful experiences and situations I've had from that day forward and up until this present day. Having a connection to spirit, my higher self, my mom, who is constantly showing me that they are with me and that I am not alone, has made a tremendous impact on how I live my life, because it does offer a sense of peace, knowing that there's a purpose to our pain and there's a purpose to everything. And that from a soul level, we're actually equipped to handle anything that comes our way. And this belief system and this knowing has really, truly kept me in a place of surrendering into my plan and helped me with my biggest fear, which is fear of the unknown, right? And so much of us, we suffer with fear, and what is coming next for us. And it has helped me eliminate that fear, that driven fear of life. And it's kept me much more at peace.
Lisa's belief about what happens to us when we die has helped her survive many losses throughout her life.
Through my personal experiences of loss, I've had a lot of loss as well. And it's helped me know that we really, truly never go anywhere. We are always, our soul always remains.
And while Lisa's belief system about what happens to us when we die has helped her and many others cope with devastating losses, Lisa does not expect others to become automatic believers. She wants people to be open and curious about the possibilities.
Everybody has their own way of thinking and living. I don't judge anybody for how they want to perceive what is in the afterlife, or if there's not. I just know what I know, and this is what I believe, and I stand in my truth, and I don't sway from it ever, because it has helped me tremendously, and I've seen it help hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people as well. So if there are skeptics, if there are people that say, I don't believe in your work, okay, fine. I don't have judgment on that. You are absolutely entitled to feel how you feel. And I will never make someone try to believe in what I believe in if they don't. I encourage people to just let them figure it out on their own. I just let the messages speak for themselves. And if it helps somebody, great. And if they still want to think it's not real, that's okay too. I don't have judgment.
I just want to thank Lisa Nitzkin so much for taking the time to talk with me today and open up about her experiences on this life's journey. And hopefully this will open some of you up to being a little bit more curious about not only what happens to us when we die, but how you can connect with your loved ones while you're still here, even if they've crossed over. And if you're interested in learning more about Lisa, you can check her out on her website, www.lisanitskinmedium.com. You can also get this information in my show notes. Like what you heard today and want to hear more? Curious about what comes next and what it all means? You can subscribe on iTunes. Just go to podcasts and find Life, Death, and the Space Between and hit subscribe. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dr. Amy Robbins. Ask me any questions you might have, let me know what else you'd love to hear about, or just share your story. I can't wait to hear from you.